In the future roadmap, we're going to add instance messaging and MSRP support. So we're all dedicated and devoted and working on it together with the project. So that's part of our contribution to them for their support. And we're doing really a nice open source client that anyone can freely install and use his WebRTC. It's Node.js based, so any Node.js front end and can use it. And really, we're trying to close down the gap between web developers and the WebRTC technology in this one open source library that anyone can install and freely use. So please use it, support it, contribute code, comments, bugs. We don't have bugs, I think. No known bugs, prove me wrong. And of course, the Open IMS. What? You don't know about it, it doesn't exist. Exactly. So yeah, if you don't have customers, you have zero complaints, right? So and again, the Open IMS. So I wanted to try doing a Dan Jenkins style presentation, but only 6 minutes. So yeah, holy shit. Oh, sorry. So just to say thank you very much, Dan, and spend another 30 seconds of my 5 minutes to thank you very much for organizing this amazing event. And it's really fun. And yeah. Everyone are clapping, everyone here, but not him yet. So I'm sure we have a future opportunity to do so. But then, thank you again. So, in general, sorry, just like 1 or 2 commercial slides. I'm really sorry, just about us, what we do. So that's the commercial IMS solution, and any mobile operator would like to increase his ARPU, gain more customers, gain more value-added services into his network. And this is what we do, is we specialize on the business stack. So anyone that has any operation running and needs business solutions will be happy to assist. And this is part of our stack and application stack if you want, but it's really environment and partnership stack as well. Lots of logos, and the main idea is the more you integrate to, the more opportunities you have, and that's what we all support about. So any integration is welcome to our projects, and come and talk to me about it. When it comes to the call center solution, and all that is possible over landline call centers, including mobile networks. So really a long list. This is really a short line of the headlines. And now, this is the tree outside from 2 days ago. I don't know if you noticed. But it really was a scary picture, kind of like Twilight Zone style. And I correlate with the picture when I thought of the first feelings I had when I was looking on radio networking and IMS stack, because I'm all into SIP. And what is all this extra stuff that's coming? And this is why I wanted to use the extra minutes I have and tell you, well, true, and noticed I was quoting for Wikipedia. Do you remember that? Not the ChatGPT. Remember people used to do that? So, homage for Wikipedia. But the IMS is not intended to be the application layer. Okay, it's part of the infrastructure that, you know, the 3GPP and the GSMA organization has set up for it. And what we did in the Open IMS is kind of a community effort that brings really a comprehensive and really good, the best projects that we could find. And we connected it all.
No, you. Thank you, Nitzan. If anyone would like to see the rest of his presentation, I'm sure he would be happy to share it with you. He was going to say about Open5GS and how it's an amazing project and you should go and take a look at it. Up you come, David. You don't have anything to plug in? No slides. Okay.
It's a no PowerPoint talk.
So this is David Duffett. He needs no introduction.
Is this thing on?
It is.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like you to think about everybody you've come across in your life, whether it's family, friends, or in your professional life at work. And I'd like to ask this question. Have you ever seen someone who wasn't achieving the level of success that their technical skills and abilities said they should? Have you ever seen somebody like that? I think we all probably have. I'm going to change one word to make this a little bit more personal. In fact, it's only one letter. Have you ever been someone that wasn't achieving? Well, I'm not asking for a show of hands. It's a bit of introspection. It's just to think about this. So have you ever been someone that wasn't achieving the level of success that your technical skills and abilities said you should? Well, that is what I'm passionate about. You've heard of FOMO, haven't you? The fear of missing out. In my mind, I have FOGMO, and it's the fear of geeks missing out. I literally hate the thought of geeks not getting the promotion, not getting the new job in a new company, not attracting people into their open source project, not attracting funding, or maybe not even selling their company simply because they're not as good at communicating as they should be. You see, in the geek world, it's great to know your stuff, isn't it? That's what we're all about. We know our stuff. But when you talk to people in the outside world, perhaps the decision makers, the people with the money, holding the purse strings, knowing your stuff is not enough. You've really got to be in a position to communicate your stuff with clarity and with confidence. And so what I want to do is offer you three top tips to help geeks not miss out. 3 of them. Here's the first one. The first one is take time to engage with your audience. Okay? You see, the thing is, what technical people tend to do is kind of dump all of their knowledge. And people really don't care how much you know until they know how much you care about them. So take time to get to know your audience. Understand what their real-world problems are. Not just the contents of a little presentation you're going to do, but the kind of macro-level objectives that they're looking to achieve. And the more you can do that, the more you can spend time talking to your audience even ahead of the presentation, the better of a fit, the better the overlap between what you deliver and what they want to receive is going to be. And they're really going to respect you for that. So that's the first one. Take time to connect with your audience. The next one is to present on purpose. Now, in theory, every presentation that's ever delivered and received has a purpose. However, I think it's fair to say that sometimes the purpose of the presentation is not really immediately clear, especially to the audience. And so what we really need to do is make sure that we have a crystallized purpose that not only you as the presenter are absolutely sure of, that most important point or the thread that joins your points, but that the audience really knows as well. We want the audience, when they walk out, to go, yeah, that was a great presentation, and the main thrust of it was, and to be able to explain it. So that's tip number 2, is to present on purpose. So incredibly important, and yet so rare. So that's something to think about. By the way, I'm not aiming any of this at the presentations in this room, because this is a geek-to-geek conference. I'm talking about when we get back out of the bubble in the wild, and we're talking to less technical audiences. So then the third one, we've had to connect, or take time to connect with your audience. We've had to present on purpose. And here's the third one. This is a biggie. This is really going to help you. Present even when nobody asks you to present. So, seek out opportunities to make presentations. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. Number 1 is the unsolicited presentation during an interview. So if you're going for a promotion or going for a new job, sometimes, of course, there will be a presentation as part of that process. But even when there's not, offer one anyway. Can you imagine what it would be like sat on this side of a table when somebody, the interviewee on the other side of the table, says, listen, I've been thinking about what I could bring to this job and, you know, how my skills and abilities would apply in this role, and I've created this 5-minute presentation. Would you like to see it? Can you imagine what that would be like? Even if you don't have time to see the presentation, that person's going to stand out, aren't they? Because they took some time to think about what they could bring along. By the way, if you do say that, make sure you do have a presentation to give in case your bluff is called, okay? Another opportunity at work. Have you ever been in a position where you could actually spot some difficulty because maybe this team didn't really understand what your team did? Or maybe there's a lack of communication. Well, do a lunchtime lecture or a lunch and learn. Get the boss to buy some pizzas and do a little presentation, because it's really going to make a positive impact. So let me just reiterate those 3 things. In order for you to be a geek that's not going to miss out, take time to connect with your audience, present on purpose, and present even when nobody asks you to do that. And if you follow those three things, not only will you be far away from FOMO and far away from FOGMO, far away from geeks missing out, but you'll be in the amazing position of being able to reap the rewards of being a geek that can speak. Thank you very much.
21 seconds left. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you want that mic, or do you want these mics?
I don't know. I can take.
So take that,
Yeah.
and then, yeah?
Yeah.
So, welcome, Bianca.
Here. So, my name is Bianca, and I'm a network engineer at Telet, or I am the SIM lady, as most people here already know because of James. Talking of James, he did a really nice presentation about how to build a network, but he forgot the most important thing, which is the SIM. Because the SIM is the last piece of the puzzle, and the SIM will actually prove if the network is working or not. But 2 years ago, when I started the journey, I didn't really know that about, I knew what a SIM is, because you know, but I didn't really know. So this will be a very short presentation about all the cool stuff the SIM can do. So first I asked Google, as any engineer would do, and it said it is a smart card that stores identification information that pinpoints a smartphone to a specific mobile network. Well, that's great, but is that enough for a SIM developer? It's not. The next best thing was 3GPP. If you're familiar with 3GPP, you know that that's a hassle to read, and I'm being nice right now. But yeah, so that contains hundreds of pages about how to build a SIM card, but yeah, after that, I realized that I need to learn a new language. Because when you want to communicate with a SIM card, you have to communicate through APDU commands, which is Application Protocol Data Unit. It's not very fun, I know. For example, in this little example here, the first line is select the service provider name file, which actually tells you on what network you are. And the second line will code it to say ComCon. It's coded in GSM 7-bit character set. Okay, this is very boring, I know. But the third point, what can you provision on a SIM card? You can provision the files, so you can connect to the network, of course. But you can also provision SDK applications, which are actually open source, and it's basically a Java card application. So if you know a bit of Java, and you learn a bit more, you can develop a Java card application. Carrier privileges is only on Android. Thank you, Android. This is very useful for... 3 minutes, okay. This is very useful for carriers that want to add some nice features to their SIM cards. I have a demo about that in a second. So these are two SIM applications that we have on our SIM card. So remember that these are coming preloaded on the SIM card. The first one is our multi-account, where you can have multiple IMSIs. So we have private, public, whatever you want. And the second one monitors the quality of service of your network. You heard me. You can have an application on the SIM card that monitors your network and can give you real-time information about drop-offs, out of coverage, so you can really know where your network lags. The carrier privileges applications, these are companion apps that you can install on Android. Basically, they are written in Java. They can come preloaded in system image. That's for big mobile operators that go to the OEM and say, look, I want this app. Or manual install it through App Store, which we are doing. These apps can override configurations relating to voice over LTE, SMS or MMS network settings, and roaming and non-roaming networks, and a lot more. And the great part is that it's all open source. And now, my little demo, it's actually a pre-recorded video because I was nervous. So, just watch. So first we check what was in the settings before. You can see there is no VoLTE toggle. We go to App Store. By the way, my application is online now, so if anyone wants to download it, yeah, look for this one. If you want to look for it, you should look for Volti Bianca, because I don't have a lot of downloads, so it will not come up. Okay, now it says that you have carrier privileges. I checked that again, just to be sure. Now we go to settings. And the Volti toggle is down there, and it wasn't before. Okay, if you download now this app, it will say that you don't have carrier privileges, because the whole catch here is that the SIM card needs to be signed with the same signature as the app was signed. So if you have one of our SIMs, it will say yes. If not, then I'm sorry, no. I wasn't sure there will be time for a summary, but if there is... If there is, I just want to say that all these cool features, so the last ones especially, are available also on eSIMs. So it's not all lost when the physical SIM will be lost. Thank you very much.
I'll try to walk around.
Oh, that looks bad.
That looks like a screen.
I mean, you are running Linux, so...
Yes, I bought this on myself. Just give me a mirror. I just want a mirror. That's it. I'm plugged in. I'm mirroring. Yes. Yes?
Yes, yes?
Yes.
Right, Will, go.
Hi. I'm not talking about Matrix too much, because everyone here knows what it is. If you don't, then we've been here for 3 days and, get on with it. So we're writing our own bridges for Matrix in 5 minutes with a demo and everything else. So here is a client. There's you there. There's a Matrix server. There's a bridge. There's a remote service. It could be GitHub. Could be RSC. Could it be XMPP? It really doesn't matter. Introducing Hookshot. Hookshot is one of these bridges that currently exists. It basically bridges things that have webhooks. So GitHub, GitLab, Jira, Figma, RSS definitely has a webhook. It's not a separate thing, but it's all built into the same project. So basically, this bridge bridges anything that does HTTP virtually, which is quite handy and quite useful. It also supports pretty much every payload system you could possibly want. So it's sort of like the last bridge we'll ever write. That's not actually true, but it's the last one I'm probably going to bother doing with. So other than that, Hookshot looks like this in production. Basically, you have your stuff on the left-hand side, all the bridging content coming through. On the right-hand side, you've got our fancy new interface, which all uses magic widgets. So the bridge actually provides its own UI to the client. The client has no UI knowledge of this entirely, so it's all built into the bridge. So if you write your own bridge in Matrix, you can have a UI that looks just like that. It's that magic. So with Matrix, as you probably know, because I'm sure you've all remembered this stuff from before, but basically you can send a message to your home server that looks a bit like this, with a body, but that's really tedious. Can you imagine writing that in? That's so tedious. What if you could just do, not that, if you could just do that? There we go. I've got to load now. So there we go. So you can just send that instead, which isn't cheating. You could send a bit of JSON, or in fact just a string hello, and do the same thing you could do with this old string, but just do that. So basically what we've done is, I don't know, removed 12 bytes, so made it easier for people who just don't want to write any code at all. So that's quite handy. So we're going to do a demo, because why not? We're also going to do a live coded demo, because also why not? We're going to do a bridge to RSC in about, I don't know, 4 minutes, whatever it is left. We're going to write a bit of JavaScript into Hookshot and a bit of glue code for the RSC side. And I hope I've got some time left to do this, because otherwise it will be really tedious. So on this side, we've got a code thing here. So we're going to do a client to RSC. We're going to go to my old favorite Libera chat. That is if I've managed to import that properly, which I haven't. So now we have lovely typings. RSC, Libera chat. Nick is going to be something like, I don't know, bot. That promise it's not taken. We're going to do secure connection. We're going to do debug, because I don't trust it. And we're going to do auto connect false, because I want to connect manually, because I'm going to do some logic. I'm going to instantiate my client with a thing. So then we do a connect. Retry callback, something like this. So, join our channel, which I put handily above there because I did not trust myself to remember to type that in properly this time. And then on a message, There is one I've made earlier, but I'm not going to use it because I tried to do it all from memory. And if I forget, I have to go back to it. Method, it's going to be a put. We have to take what header we want, because if we don't do that, it gets all confused. And it's nice to tell your provider what type you're using. So content type is going to be JSON, data, it's body, isn't it, for this? Yep. A message has a from component, a to component, and I believe a message. So we do this, from to message. That should all just work. Wrong SSL, because I did not give it the correct port number. That is always important to do that, because we don't remember that by default. 6697, that's right. You can wear a t-shirt for that. So, let's do that again. Come on, connect me in Freenode, Libero chat. Yeah, that looks like that might do a thing. So then we go to our client piece here, and we have a generic webhook here. This is our coding environment for our bridges nowadays. It's got much more simple. So we want to do a plain text, which is going to be something like this. We do data.message, I think I called it. Do a very simple one just to check the logic works. So in theory, if I've done that all correctly and I go to my WeChat client, and make that a bit big so you can see what's going on. Oh, I really hope that came through. And I hit save. And I spam it relentlessly. It's not going to do it. Right, let's prove the other thing works first. Oh, come on. Oh, double quote? Fuck. Find the double quote. There. Yes, we have a message that says hello ComCon. That's not RSC, but it's a start. Can we make the other thing work? It's the real question. Can we make the actual RSC stuff work? I could look at my other side. It says unhandled message. Oh no. Why? Fetch. What did I do in the previous code? Aha! You didn't see me copy and paste this in because, of course, that would be cheating, and we don't cheat in ComCon. Right, so we reload this client, do the right one. This is cutting close. Come on, join. So who is saying, come on. Oh. Yes! We have an RC bridge running over hookshot, running over matrix. It's a completely pointless application. Never write this at home. It's rubbish. It only does one way. But you can write bridges like this. And I'm done. Woo!
Abby, tough act to follow.
No.
Dongle. Yes, I've got a dongle.
The audio just went through, right?
I can maybe help.
See?
You've got audio.
Yeah, I need audio.
Oh, weird American keyboards.
You mean English?
Output via HDMI and like that?
Perfect, yeah,
Yeah?
that's perfect.
Okay. Welcome Abbi Minessale to the stage.
Oh, I can't see the timer. Okay. So, hi, everybody. I'm Abbi Minessale. We won't start yet. I don't I don't want to run out the clock.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, great. So I'm Abbi Minessale. I'm the engagement marketing manager at SignalWire, and I'm in the FreeSwitch community as well. Who here has ever been plagued by spam calls? Yeah. So I recently also found myself in a similar situation. Last month, I moved across the U.S. from Wisconsin all the way to the East Coast in North Carolina, and I needed to book a long-distance mover for the first time, and I accidentally gave my phone number to a brokerage site thinking it was a moving company. Rookie mistake. They immediately sold my number, and I was flooded with calls from movers, and some were much more dubious than others. And while incredibly annoying, these calls did give me a bit of a devious idea. So who here is familiar with Lenny, the bot, that tortures spammers? So, meet Lynette. She is heavily inspired by Lenny. She is a dim-witted AI chatbot that Brian West and I built with our new APIs at SignalWire, and we just released these like 3 days ago, and this is the first bot that has seen the world. So Lynette is looking to move from California to Brooklyn, and what I find personally really cool about this is that we made this bot using prompts in plain English. It works in other languages as well, but we made this the same way that you would put a prompt into Midjourney, which I find really cool. So I gave Lynette's phone number to 3 different brokerage sites, and I recorded their conversations. And I expected it to be hilarious, and it sometimes was. Here is one recording from a very impatient mover who thinks that Lynette is the dumbest person on the earth.
Because, paperwork, and then it's time. Yeah, well, I called because you were looking for some help with your move. Did you just what I said? I thought you were looking for help with your... What? If you heard it, why would you say that?
So that wouldn't go quite smoothly. You can see we added some background noise so that even if the caller was suspicious of her being a robot, they'd have enough doubt to keep talking. So a little bit of casual psychological warfare there. And so we put all of these, all the calls come through to a Slack bot called Abbi bot. Here's a picture of Lynette. And they're all transcribed and summarized so that I can see what happens. And so far we have about 40 calls. And while funny, something unexpected happened. While this was intended to be a prank, a surprising number of the calls were genuine. Of course, plenty of spammers caught on immediately and hung up, and it was not an interesting call. But a surprising amount of people were fooled, and a handful even figured out that Lynette was an AI, and they continued talking to her anyways. Yeah. One call, the mover was on the phone with Lynette for 9 minutes. Yeah. It took 7 minutes for him to ask if she was an AI, and she was very honest, and she said yes. And then he continued to talk to her anyways, and asking for her inventory. So I have 2 clips from that.
Mattress covers, whatever you need to keep it safe.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you for explaining that to me. I feel much better about the moving process now. So what's the next step? Do we need to schedule a time for the inventory, or is there anything else we need to do first?
We can do the inventory right now.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for being so accommodating.
So she's very polite. And here's the clip of the same man.
Are you AI?
Yes, I am an AI virtual assistant. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Okay, what else do we have in the kitchen?
Can I have a refrigerator?
So, well, very funny. This got me thinking in my last minute about the real world things that we can build with AI past party tricks. Everyone's playing around with this technology, but Mira, for example, spoke yesterday about using AI to do your mundane tasks for you. And when I moved last month, I was on the phone with 3 different movers, and I had to go through a video call of my entire apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, and I have a lot of stuff. And I'm sure my fellow ADHDers know how absolutely torturous a task like that is. So in this this case, Lynette was making her inventory up. It was all lies. But there's a very real world where I could give her my real information and she can actually do that inventory for me. So this gets me really, really excited about the future. This is something that we can have interact with people on our behalf, past just funny party tricks. So to wrap this up, if you have any ideas, even if it's a prank, find me at signalwire.community. I've got $15 in credit. If you want some to play around with it, code COMCON. This is Lynette's number. If you want to call it, I can see and hear all the transcriptions, so I will hold it against you. And try asking her if she can use a rocket ship to move your goods. And she has some pretty funny answers. Thank you.
-9 seconds. That's pretty good. Oh, do I need to buy you a new laptop with an HDMI port? We'll talk about it later. This is Marco. He is a developer at Nimble Ape and Everycast Labs, and hopefully all good.
This?
No?
Hello?
Yes? Great.
Great.
Welcome, Marco, to the stage.
Thank you. Oh, it started. Hi, I'm Marco. As Dan said, I'm a developer at Nimble Ape. I've been working with him for over 2 years now. I'm originally from Italy, but I live in Leeds, best city in the world. Today I will talk to you about an event I took part to in earlier this year in February. So last October, Dan and I went to DMAX in San Francisco, and we met the people of Qualabs who told us about this idea they had about a summer camp where they would get people from around the world, developers, under the same roof at their headquarters, and just code on something together, basically. As soon as I heard the idea, I said, yes, I'm going. So that's what I did. I flew to Uruguay. The event was called the Montevideo Tech Summer Camp, organized by Qualabs. And this is where I went for 2 weeks. So this is their headquarters. It's a little castle in the middle of Montevideo. And we had this idea of creating an open source project that would be a platform to power hybrid events. And Lorenzo Miniero talked about this, about the challenges of hybrid events quite extensively a few days ago. But this is our take. So obviously, hybrid events have some pretty unique challenges. So you have in-person speakers and remote speakers. You have an in-person audience, but also a remote audience. And if you're joining from home, you always feel quite isolated because you're just looking at your screen, talking into your webcam. So there's this barrier between people who are in person and people who are from home who don't really have a feeling of what's going on the other side. So we thought, let's try to find something that will break these barriers and promote some live interaction between all the different participants. And so we came out with Hybridly. Don't hold the name against me, ChatGPT suggested it. But essentially, the idea was to have an open source project. They would use open source. They would be WebRTC provider agnostic, so we're currently using Mux, but we wrapped it, and we are going to add the Janus wrapper and other providers as well, so that whoever uses it can basically bring their own provider. And it will have different built-in roles, because if you're a speaker or a remote speaker or an MC, you will have different powers and also a different experience. And this is roughly what it looked like after 2 weeks. The UI has improved a little bit, but it's very much a work in progress. So I would encourage everyone here to just have a look at the GitHub and get involved and help us bring the project forward. But so when I first thought about putting a lightning talk in for today, I went to Dan and I said, obviously I'm not just going to go on stage and talk about my holidays, right? Not just going to go there and show a bunch of pictures. And yet, here we are. So you might recognize a couple of people in this photo. So the thing is that the people from Qualabs were really eager to help us learn the Uruguayan culture and, be there and get to know them. So they organize all these fun events and a lot of activities and parties and stuff. And I could go on and on and on with my pictures. And probably a little bit more. But the thing is that I only got 2 minutes left, so I should probably wrap it up. The thing is that, if it was just about coding on some open source project, I could have done it from home, as I always do. The point was to get everyone under the same room, under the same roof, in the same room, coding on something they were passionate about, and just, get to know each other, get to experience each other's culture, and this is basically what ConCon is all about, isn't it? So it's about bringing a community together, creating community, experiences each other, cultures, and when you do that, when you know each other a little bit better, then you work better, even later when you're remote. So this is what we did, and this is what made the experience so great, and this is what we should do, as much as possible when we have a chance. So the motto for the event was connecting through the power of collaboration, and so I encourage everyone to just go on the Hybrid meetup, get involved, connect, and collaborate. Thank you.
Look at that. Minute to spare. And I didn't realize you'd taken so many pictures of Uruguay.
I had to limit myself.
You had to limit yourself. We are making very good time. Right. Ready?
I think so. Cool. Yeah.
Welcome, Sam, to the stage.
Hello. Most of you know me. I've done lots of things over the years. But today I want to talk very quickly about Matter. This is something I've now been working with for the last 2 months, maybe. I joined an organisation, Connectivity Standards Alliance. And this is really a bit of a guinea pig thing because I want to kind of produce a talk on Matter for geeks. So we have a whole bunch of marketing information about Matter and smart home and what that is for maybe like The Verge and the media. And we've got some great documentation and stuff on how you can build a light bulb and how to write the embedded C code on the controller. But we don't have anything kind of in the middle, which explains some of the technology, but you don't need to worry about base 38 encoding and scary things like that. So that's roughly what the point of this talk is. For those who don't know, Matter is a new smart home standard. Connectivity Standards Alliance used to be the Zigbee Alliance, so it kind of evolved out of Zigbee, but it's now an interoperable smart home technology backed by Apple, Amazon, Google, Samsung, Philips, Hue, pretty much every name you can imagine in smart home for an interoperable standard. So, why Matter? As I said, it's an open standard, we'll come back to that in a bit, but the idea being you can get light bulbs and speakers and controllers and switches from anybody, and they should just all work together. It all runs on your local network, which is kind of cool. You don't need to now use the cloud and a server in China just to turn the lights on, which is, both nice and reassuring. One app. How many people have got smart homes and have got umpteen different apps on their phone for all the different things? Again, it's a standard. You can just use whatever app you prefer. Reduces e-waste. How many people have got something in a cupboard or in a box at home that they bought this cool IoT device and then the manufacturer shut down the servers because it was all cloud-based and now it's just like a brick? So part of the idea of Matter is, again, it's a standard. The manufacturer doesn't have to build a service and a cloud service and maintain a service. They can sell you a light bulb for $10 and actually they don't have any ongoing costs after that because it's through the open standard and through the local network. So they're not having to try and sell your data or come up with a business model to fund their ongoing server costs. The number of devices is growing rapidly. There's a release every 6 months. We're doing things like robot vacuum cleaners right now. I was in a Slack conversation discussing the difference between a robot vacuum cleaner and a robotic lawnmower, and are they actually the same thing? Crazy stuff. It works over a couple of networks, and it's secure. This, a little bit technical, is roughly what the stack looks like. So Matter is an application layer protocol, sits over TCP and UDP on the top of IPv6, and then that runs, by the standard, over Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and Thread. Some people have maybe heard of Matter and Thread and kind of the relationship between them. Thread is the transport network for Matter, or one of the transport networks for Matter. It can also use Wi-Fi. But Thread devices aren't all Matter devices. You can have HomeKit, for example, uses Thread. So there's a little bit. And then there's Bluetooth over here, which is kind of in the stack, but only used for a certain part. So we talked about, the three radio networks, really. Wi-Fi, simple Wi-Fi bulbs, $10 bulb, ESP32, something like that in it. Exactly over your normal Wi-Fi network. Thread is 802.15.4, standard, same as Zigbee. It's a mesh network, low power, low bandwidth, really nice for smart home devices. And then Bluetooth is basically used for commissioning. Commissioning is the process of setting a new device up on your network. So when I want to, from my phone, set up this light bulb and tell it what my Thread network or what my Wi-Fi credentials are, that's where Bluetooth is used. So you don't control devices over Bluetooth, it's just used in the setup. So you don't have to try and type your Wi-Fi key into your light bulb. Some of the concepts in the network and the terms, a fabric is a logical network within Matter, so you have the controller and all the devices, and basically, in theory, your home will be at least one fabric, maybe more. Nodes are then devices in the network once they're actually commissioned into a fabric. It's known as a node. The administrator or the admin is the controller. Typically, this is your smart home hub, Google Home Hub, Amazon Echo, Apple HomePod, Apple TV, LG are putting it in their TVs, whatever kind of devices. Controllers are just things that can send a command. So a light switch, a button on the wall could be a controller. Or it could be an app or anything really, and a controllee is something that gets controlled. What you actually do is you configure it so that you pair up a controller to a controllee, so when I press the button on the wall it turns the light on, and that relationship is direct. You don't have to go via anything else. Rough sort of logical diagram of what a Matter network might look like in an average home. Probably nobody here would have an average smart home, but you have the Wi-Fi in red, so you have things like the thermostat over Wi-Fi into the router, you have some more Wi-Fi devices, EV chargers down there, you have some tablets and some smart speakers, and then you have a couple of devices in the middle here. These are the Thread border routers, so this might be the burglar alarm, I think is the keypad thing, and that's just another Thread router. Which create the Thread mesh. So a Thread border router is something that sits between the Wi-Fi or Ethernet network and the Thread network, and so it's all IP over that network. Multi-fabric, this is a very approximate demo that I've got running outside until I had to pull half of it apart, but the idea is that we have multiple controllers, so we have an Amazon, Samsung, Google, and a bulb paired into each one. But you can also have devices shared across it. So in that, you've got 3 bulbs owned by 3 different controllers and a light strip that can be accessed by all 3. Turn it on with Google, turn it off with Amazon. It's open source-ish. Don't hold us too much to that. It's an open standard. It's a freely available standard. If you want to produce a commercial device, you have to get certified. Done. All dead on.
And we still have, because everyone ran very well to time because I forced them to, we still have nine minutes of the session left. So I'm going to welcome back to the stage Nitzan, so he can finish his. Yes! I'm completely and utterly cheating and changing the rules on the fly, but it's my event and I can do whatever I want.
I knew that. Thank you.
What are you after?
Phone.
Your phone? No, it's not here.
I knew that.
Hold on.
Hold on. Yeah.
There you go.
Good.
Right, you've got 3 minutes.
I knew that slide will get me my
time
back.
Go on.
I knew it. So, I was just talking about the OpenIMS.
Oh, there we go.
Great. So, I really want to thank you again for the time, because the only times left in this presentation is really to say thank you to amazing people that made this OpenIMS project running. And it's all this blah, blah, 3GPP, GSMA standardization that talks about user devices, user equipment connected through the RAN, the radio access network, and to the core. And we're talking about the core on the right side. And this is how signaling looks from the 3GPP GSMA. Looks nice, huh? Very simplified. You got all the flows here, and this is just an invite. And this is another very simplified Open5GS demonstration of all the ports and the traffic that goes by with the different interfaces between the parts, and it's really interesting. And I really want to thank him. Yeah. You want to take a picture for him with that? Yeah, pull that up for sure. He's been doing an amazing job wrapping up this amazing project with having everything Dockerized, installed really, really simply And it really inspired us to continue his road, and this is exactly what we did. And we hooked up together, and this is Giovanni from his laptop in Athens, looking at the beautiful Athens view in Houston, in the OpenShift Summit. And then again on the right side, us less than a year later, because dates has changed, showing up with this. And so again, thank you very much for Giovanni. He's been helping us a lot. He's the author of the cookbook, the Free Switch cookbook, and he's really another rock star that helps us a lot to push this project forward, helping us with QA remotely, and is really cool. The SRS Run project, the OpenShips with sexy Razvan. Where is Razvan? Yeah. Wearing my coat. Yeah. So again, really helpful guys with the OpenShips, making us do some stuff like that. I call it, actually Giovanni calls it, I'm sorry for my language, SN grep porn. So you can see exactly the PCFCF, the ICFCF going forward. This is actually an invite. I don't know if you can see that the user agent somewhere here is the OnePlus that we're using. Yeah, there you go. So that's how simple it is and how it gets to our world. Querying, the guys that's just saw earlier, making it amazingly possible to log and monitor everything. And Shlomi and Lorenzo were sitting, and less than a day later, we got logs and graphs and everything coming up out of all our interfaces, and really an amazing job. Again, with the eBPF, everything is visualized, all the hosts, the traffic between them, and it's all coming out of the box. So this is for our roadmap, IPsec, circuit with fallback, improving the UI, and more monitor and more logs. And this is how you clone it. I even wrote git clone for you so you can try it, really. No typing at all. And thank you. Oh my God, it's already 6 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I felt bad. I knew what was at the end of his talk, and I really wanted him to finish it. That's the end of Lightning Talks. Thank you very, very much. I think a key point that I would like to make is that we had 8 speakers there, and 4 of them are not native English speakers. And that is a hard job, because I find it difficult to talk for 6 minutes on a topic anyway, without having to think about I'm speaking a different language. So well done to all of our speakers. Thank you very much. And the next sessions start in 5 minutes, I think. Or we've got, no, it's a break now, isn't it? So this is where I need David Duffett to tell me what's happening. It's a break. It's a break. Thank you, Luca. It's a break. It's a break until 3:40. And so we will be selling Everycast Labs t-shirts out in the break. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.